All right, let's jump right in. I want you to forget everything you think you know about rock climbing. Seriously, forget the slow, patient chess match against the mountain. Today, we're talking about one of the most explosive, dynamic, and just ridiculously fast sports on the entire planet. This is a vertical sprint. You know, when you picture climbing, you're probably imagining a struggle that takes hours, maybe even days. But in competitive speed climbing, nope. This is a head-to-head drag race straight up a wall, and it's all over in just a few seconds. Get this, 4.64 seconds. That is the current men's world record for scaling a 15-meter wall. To put that into perspective, that's literally less time than it takes most people to tie their shoes. It's just pure, unadulterated vertical speed. So, what is this sport officially? Well, the definition really says it all. It's a discipline where the one and only goal is being the fastest. There are no points for style, no complex puzzles to solve. It's just about getting to the top before anyone else. It's climbing boiled down to its most raw, competitive core. But you might be asking, how can you compare a time from a competition in France to one in Indonesia? How do you make sure every race is perfectly fair? Well, the absolute genius of speed climbing is its solution. The racetrack is always identical. Let's break down that track. Every official wall is precisely 15 meters high. That's about 49 feet. It's got a subtle but really tough 5-degree overhang. Every wall is certified by the International Federation of Sport Climbing. And there's a super important auto-belay system to keep the climbers safe. But here's the real key, the secret sauce to the whole thing. The holds and the route are always identical. And when I say identical, I mean it. It's not just that the holds look similar, they are the exact same models, bolted into the exact same positions, down to the millimeter. This means a world record set in Tokyo is perfectly comparable to a time set in Salt Lake City. The wall never changes. The athlete is the only variable. And the race itself? It's beautifully simple. It all starts with the climber's foot on a pressure plate. A loud beep signals the clock has started, and they just explode off the ground. They power up that memorized identical route, and the instant their hand slaps a big switch at the top, the clock stops, measured to 1/1000th of a second. The whole thing is over in the blink of an eye. So because that course is perfectly standardized, the sport becomes this incredible, pure test of human performance. It's just a relentless, nonstop battle against the clock to shave off milliseconds and redefine what's physically possible. And just look at this progression. It's absolutely stunning. Back in 2011, a time of 6.26 seconds was mind-blowing. By 2017, the legendary Reza Alipour had shattered the 5.5-second barrier. And then, just in the last few years, we've seen athletes like Vedrick Leonardo break the mythical 5-second barrier, which brings us to today's insane record of 4.64 seconds. I mean, let that sink in. The men's world record has fallen over 20 times since 2011. That's a time drop of over 25%. In a sport where you're fighting for hundredths of a second, that kind of massive improvement is almost unheard of. And believe me, the story's just as intense on the women's side. Since 2013, their world record has also been broken an incredible 20 times. It just shows you the same breathtaking pace of progress. The current benchmark for the women is this blistering 6.03 seconds set by Poland's powerhouse Aleksandra Miroslaw. She is just relentlessly pushing what's possible, and she's getting so close to breaking that monumental 6-second barrier. But this obsession with going fast, it's not just something that happens on a competition wall. The whole spirit of climbing fast has a much longer and, you could say, a much wilder history out on actual rock. I love this quote from Hans Florine, who's a true pioneer of big wall speed climbing. It perfectly captures the spirit. Because once you leave the gym and head for the mountains, all the rules just disappear. The challenge becomes about one thing, moving as fast as humanly possible up some of the world's most famous climbs. So you really have these two different worlds of speed. On one hand, you have the hyper-controlled, electronically timed world of competition climbing. And on the other, you have these legendary natural routes like El Capitan, where the holds are just whatever nature gave you, and the time is kept on a simple stopwatch. And some of these records are they're just mind-bending. Alex Honnold and Tommy Caldwell climbing nearly 3,000 feet of the nose on El Capitan in under 2 hours, that is one of the greatest athletic achievements, period. And then you have these solo records, climbers tackling tough routes alone in a matter of minutes. It's a totally different kind of speed, but it is just as impressive. So how in the world did this super specialized, lightning-fast sport go from being a niche part of the climbing world to absolutely exploding onto the biggest sporting stage on the planet? Well, the answer is one word: Olympics. Speed climbing made its big debut at the Tokyo 2020 Games. The only catch was that it was bundled together with bouldering and lead climbing. But for Paris 2024, a huge, game-changing decision was made. Speed climbing became its very own standalone medal event. And this separation was massive for the sport. It finally let the specialist athletes, the true sprinters of the vertical world, shine on their own terms. It cemented speed climbing status as this thrilling, easy-to-understand, must-watch event for everyone at home. So all of this brings us back to the ultimate question. In just a decade, we have seen the record plummet by almost 25%. These athletes are reaching speeds that people once thought were pure science fiction, which really makes you wonder, where does it stop? What is the limit? How much faster can a human possibly get?